You know how sometimes they say that if an ending is spoiling for you, if an ending is spoiled for you, that ruins the effect of said ending? At least in this case, that is not true. The impact, the effect, whatever you want to call it. So I had mentioned this. By the way, we've made it. It's all come down to this. No Time to Die. If you didn't see my unboxing video, I bought the Walmart exclusive. The special outside decorative case. Really cool. Really cool. You guys know I've said this. I was a moderate, like an occasional Bond fan. GoldenEye was really the only Bond movie I ever really watched all the way through. I saw parts of Diamonds Are Forever. I've heard, lines. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Shaken, not stirred. Bond, James Bond, stuff like that. But GoldenEye was the only one I was ever interested in because of the game. And partially because this was coming out, and partially because, and I gotta give credit where credit is due, I wanted to know more about James Bond, and I discovered Dutch Bond Fan on YouTube. And in watching his reviews, I said, I need to buy these movies, and I need to watch them myself. So I knew bits and pieces from what he had told me in the videos, going into each movie. But, watching the movie and watching someone's review is very different. You get to have your own experience with it. And this year, with everything that happened, this was come out last year. Didn't come out last year. Because you know why. And now it come out this year. And I would have seen this in theaters. And I think I would have just sat there after the end of this movie. As I said at the beginning of this video, just because the ending is spoiled for you does not diminish the impact. This ending got me. I didn't think it would. And I have so many conflicted emotions I don't even know how to process right now. But I do want to say, I think this film was handled very well. It was directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. And I think he did a very good job. Daniel Craig's Bond era has been good. Certainly had its ups and downs. Casino Royale was good. Quantum, not so much. Skyfall was good. Spectre went down. And this one, I think, goes back up again. It seems to be every other film. Spectre is not as bad as Quantum, I don't think. At least it's competently directed. And here, this is also competently directed. I do feel that there were steps taken to... If you don't know, the end of Spectre, Bond leaves MI6. He's done. He leaves with Madeline to have his life. And within the first 15 minutes of this film, they undo that. And it's very obvious who undid it. And when it's revealed later, I went, duh. But it just... I don't know. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this. So we start with the the gun barrel, of course, at the beginning of the film, as it should be. I know they tried different things with it, but it was at the beginning of the film. It was a little bit different, like metal around and everything. You know, and there's no blood thing coming down this time, so that's different. Excuse me. Then we transition to not the pre-title sequence, but a flashback of a young Madeline Swan with her mother in Norway, I believe, where a masked man comes in and claims, you know, your father took my family, and kills her mother, and then tries to kill her, I believe, but she shoots at him and they get away. And they go into the ice, she falls through and he saves her. This masked man turns out to be our main villain, Lucifer Safin, even though it's spelled Safin. If there's only one F, I don't think you get the ass sound, but hey, it's how they pronounced it. It's on them. My arms are scratched. Did you hear that? But yes, and then we transition to the pre-title sequence. In my opinion, this flashback is not a pre-title sequence from this point on. And we have Bond and Madeline, and they're in Italy, I believe, and they're talking, and Bond does say, we have all the time in the world, and they play the music score. Doo-doo-doo. And I went, oh, if I didn't already know, then I would know. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and spoil this. So if you haven't seen this while you're watching this, it was spoiled for me shortly before the movie even came out in American theaters, because they had the European releases. I'm in this James Bond group on Facebook, and somebody decided to post before the American release came out, oh my god, I can't believe they killed James Bond. And I went, really? Really? You're gonna be that dick on the internet that spoils the whole thing? People haven't even seen it yet? Really? Fucking really? Oh, I was pissed. I mean, I had an idea that that's how they were gonna do it, because they've been so tight-knit with his Bond era that the only way to end it was with his death. But did you have to spoil it? Really? Now, it's only almost a week out from No Way Home, and I haven't heard anything, spoilers, and I'm hoping people will keep their fucking mouth shut, but I don't think I'm gonna make it. Anyway, like I said, even if I didn't know, as soon as he said that line, I would know. I'd be like, oh shit, he's dying, isn't he? And the music score. And they you know, they're talking back and forth, and she says, like, he needs to move on, so he needs to go to Vesper's grave, I guess, to kind of make sure that's done so he can move on with her. And when he gets there, there's this guy with a fake eyeball. He's the henchman. His name is Primo. And as a fan of Primo Colon, the wrestler, I perked up when I heard that name. But Bond is attacked and is set up, and he thinks Madeline set him up. You see where this is going? So, after the gun shootouts, he gets Madeline to safety to the train and tells her, go, you're on your own. However, I'm going to go back a little bit. When they get in the car, before they're attacked, she says, and I caught this too, because I didn't know about this part. She says, James, I need to tell you something, or I have something to tell you. And I went, she's pregnant. Whenever a woman says those words, it's either pregnant or divorced, and they aren't married. So, she's pregnant. Or she's cheating on you. I don't think she was cheating on him. So because he believes she set him up, he lets her go on the train, and we get the title sequence. And I'll just say this. It starts with those little circles going do-do-do, just like in Dr. No. And I know there have been a lot of comparisons with Safin in Dr. No. And there's a thing later when he goes into his lair and he's sitting on the floor in front of the table that I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of Dr. No-ish. They do some callbacks in this, but yeah, that got me. But the rest of the title sequence, yeah. Look, Billie Eilish, I'm not a fan. And I tried with this song, all right? I was listening to all the theme songs to figure out which ones I like the most. I have a top 20. So it's probably going to be I don't want to rank all the songs, but it's probably going to be my top 20 Bond themes, which there's going to be like 6 that aren't on there, counting Never Say Never Again. I could rank them all, but I don't really count Dr. No because that's just the James Bond theme. And that wouldn't be fair because it's a James Bond theme to rank it with the rest of the ones. So I don't know how I do that. But I don't know. But I tried. I listened to it once, months ago. Didn't care. Didn't like it, I mean. Waited about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Tried again. Couldn't get into it. And listening to it here, honestly, I like the visuals, but I just couldn't get into it. Just could not get into the song. Sorry. But after we are brought to a lab where we have a Dr. O, because I can't pronounce his last name. And he's there. And he's talking with someone on a thing, and I guess it's MI6 lab, and he has something that he's setting up, and some bad guys come in, kidnap him, of course, and then we transition to Jamaica. we transition to Bond on an island somewhere where he is visited by Felix Leiter. And another thing I call, because they set it off, where he goes out and he is enjoying himself and he comes back to his house and he's looking around and he finds a cigar butt. And I went, Felix. And yeah, that's what it was. Felix Leiter and his pal Ash, Logan Ash, working for the CIA. And they want him to find Dr. O because of something he's in possession of. So they send Bond to Cuba. Bond is, of course, hesitant, but, they want to send Bond to Cuba. He's hesitant. But at this little party, he runs into a woman he thinks is Jamaican called Nomi, but it turns out she's the new 007. And about Lashana Lynch's Nomi, all right? I found out about her, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know where it's going to go, right? I'm telling you right now, I'm wrong. But this is what I thought. I'm like, once I found out that Bond died, I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing. Bond is dead because Nomi has a 007 number. So I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing. Bond is dead, but hey, we still got 007, right? So she can be the new 007. And people are saying, oh, they're going to have to reboot it now, which they probably should, but it's like, and like, we're not searching for a new Bond right now. Oh yeah, because you probably already have it. It's going to be her. But after the end of this, I'm not so sure. And we'll get to that. Anyway, she tells him to stay away from Cuba, which of course is like, tell Bond not to do something, he's going to do it anyway. So he does go. And it leads him to Spectre, where he finds there's this party for Blofeld's birthday. And Blofeld is locked up, but he set something up, and it's supposed to be this gas that kills Bond, but it kills all the Spectre agents instead. And this gas ends up being nanomites, or whatever it is, And it confused. I was kind of confused on how these work. I thought it had to be cured to a certain blood type, which they say it is, but like, kills all these people, Spectre, blood types. I guess maybe they have their blood in there, I guess, but yeah, so Bond escapes and he gets a hold of no. Yes, no. Yes. He escapes and Nomi gets a hold of Dr. O. Ambruchev? He gets a hold of Ambruchev. I'm saying that wrong. And he outwits her. Oh, I forgot to mention, he has someone else. She's in the movie so quickly. Paloma. She's in the movie so quickly I forgot about her. Okay? It's a small part. Paloma, played by, hold on. It's on the tip of my tongue. Ana de Armas. She's in the movie so quickly, she doesn't come back into it. I thought she was going to show up at the end, but she doesn't. She's just there. Okay. Thanks for coming aboard for like 20 minutes. 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, she helps him get Dr. Ambruchev. And he takes him back to Felix. And when discussing with Felix what happened, he's like, how did Blofeld know I was there? Ash is in on it. And he shoots Felix. And I'm, oh no, they're not going to kill off Felix, are they? So Bond tries to stop Ash from taking Ambruchev. It doesn't work. And Ambruchev blows up the boat that they're on. And Bond is forced to let Felix go. But to credit, Felix succumbs to his wounds first. The gunshot wound first. And Bond is forced to let him go. So Felix Leiter dies in this movie. And it is a little saddening. I didn't cry here. I did end up crying later, but I didn't cry here. I was a little sad for Felix. Because this was the first Felix that was played by the same person in all of his appearances. In the films that he was in with this Bond. You know, we had David Hedison play, Bond, play Felix in 2 films. With 2 different Bonds. But this was the first one to play Felix Leiter with the same Bond in all of the films that he was in. So, it does hit harder. Like, when Felix got his leg bit off in License to Kill, sure, it had an impact, but because Felix changed actors so much, it wasn't a big one, at least for me. Here, because it's been Jeffrey Wright the entire time for Craig's run, it does hit. And it did get me. I didn't cry. That was later, but whew. Yes. So, Felix dead. Of course, now Bond wants revenge. And so he goes back to MI6 and he talks to M, and he figures out that this technology was made by MI6. It was supposed to be not used in this way, but, you know, I guess you can't trust on Ambruchev. He was Spectre after all. And so, yes, he wants to speak with Blofeld, but M won't let him. Of course. But eventually they have to. He's reinstated in his 00 stats. He doesn't get a number yet. And he goes in with Nomi and eventually Madeline to talk to Blofeld. And this is one of the things I'm kind of iffy about what they do here. They brought Christoph Waltz back to play Blofeld. And he doesn't... Like, Blofeld is like Bond's arch rival. And I feel like they just didn't do him right here. I mean, it's no worse than Charles Gray. But, you know, at least Ninja's like a woman. And Christoph Waltz is great in the portrayal. But I feel like there's more they could do with him. But again, with this being Craig's last film, I think they had to kill him off too. The way they did it, though, was kind of predictable, I guess. Safin comes to visit Madeline as one of the sessions and reveals himself who he is. And then next time we see her, she's in the bathroom rubbing something on her arms, like a perfume. And I went, it's the nanomites. It's the nano things. And then you see Bond grab her arm, and she's like, no. And I need to get out of here. And she leaves. And I'm like, something's going to happen here. Like, Blofeld's going to piss him off. He's going to touch him. And he's going to die. Exactly what happens. Blofeld starts to talk, admits that he was the one who, and this was the duh moment. He admits that he was the one who attacked him at Vesper's grave. And I went, well, duh. Obviously, we were the same. It's like me, Madeline. I didn't believe for a second it was her. But he grabs him, and Tanner, it's like, Bond. And then when he turns around, Blofeld is dead. And I went, okay. We killed off Blofeld now. That's 2 characters. 2 legendary Bond characters you've killed off. And I knew that Bond was next, so yeah. So Bond tracks Madeline to her mother's house in Norway, where he meets Mathilde, her daughter. And again, I'm like, she kept saying, she's not yours. She's not yours. And I went, yeah, she is. To look at the kid, she's about 4 years old, which would fit. But yeah, it's his. She's like, she has blue eyes. I'm like, well, I have blue eyes, and I'm not your son, Bond. At least I don't think so. Yeah. But it's not all smile, sunshine, and roses because there is an attack. So, because Ash has found his way there, and they end up in this jungle, and he kills Ash after telling Madeline and Mathilde to hide, but Safin shows up and kidnaps them. Now, there was a moment, once they get to Safin's hideout, that I predicted something that I was wrong on. He shows this vial of blood thing, which is he shows that he's harvesting this nanotech stuff, and he's gonna use it to mass genocide, basically. Excuse me. And he's got this little vial, and I was like, are they gonna do what I think they're gonna do? Are they gonna do a thing where he's defeated people? This is what I thought was gonna happen. It does. This is what I thought was gonna happen. I went, he's gonna kill Safin, and then the little girl's gonna run up to him, and she's gonna have the nano stuff on her, and it's gonna kill him. I thought that's what was gonna happen, and I'm like, that would be a stupid death. I hope they don't do that. They don't. They have a more impactful death. And I predicted another one when they got to this, but I may be missing some things, but yes. So Safin separates Madeline from Mathilde. And I forgot to mention something earlier. Bond goes to Moneypenny and Q. And this is where we get an indication that Q is gay. Because he says he's waiting for someone, and he says he. I went, oh, Q's gay. Doesn't make a difference to me. I mean, Desmond wasn't. I mean, Desmond probably got some putang in his day. For sure. But this one, I could see it. Yeah, I can see it. No problems there. No problems. But yeah, they're working together, and then, of course, M brings him in. And something I noticed. Bond calls him Mallory quite a few times. And I think this signifies that he doesn't quite accept him as M as you think he would have. Like, he does call him M at some point, but there are points that he calls him Mallory. Like, mostly when he's pissed off. He says, Mallory. And so it kind of shows you that he still doesn't quite think of him as M. Not the M that he knows anyway. So yes, he has Q on the thing, and I think you could get the DB5 earlier, but he gets his plane with Nomi. There's this cool plane that they fly in. I'm kind of glossing over. I'm trying to get the important parts. The plane and the DB5 are not really important. I'm trying to get through this. So he rescues Madeline and Mathilde and gets them out of there. Nomi gets them out of there. So it's him and Safin. He fights Safin in this little pool, and Safin scrapes him on the face. And you find out he hit him with the vial of the nanomite blood and tells him, we're not going to be able to touch them. Or they're going to die, basically. So he shoots Safin, killing him. Q tells him he's got to open up these things because they're going to launch rockets or missiles into it and blow it up so that these nano things cannot be used. And he does that, but then Safin closes it once he goes to leave. Safin closes it, and then he kills Safin, he goes back up and opens it. And he's not going to make it out in time because the missiles are headed there. And he says, Q, put Madeline on. So Q sends, contacts Nomi and puts her on, and he tells her, he's not going to make it. And she figures out that it was the blood, the vial that he had, because he mentioned about, hair, and then he took a hair from her, obviously, and so when I saw the missiles were coming, I guess, they're going to blow up, but we're not going to see his death. And so we can guess, is he going to survive or not? No, they show you point blank, he is dead. And at first I was like, when they said about the vial, I'm like, they're forcing this. They're saying there's no way for him to go other than to die. Because he can't touch the ones that he loves, so he has to die. And I was like, I'm going to be pissed. But by the time this was over, I think I'm okay with it. But so he tells her, you made the perfect child. And she says something to the effect of, we need time, and he says, you have all the time in the world. And I'm like, yeah. And she says, she has your eyes. And he says, I know. And the missiles hit. Bond dies. And she cries. And we cut back to MI6. And they are toasting him with vodka martinis. Or maybe it's just scotch. It's in a regular scotch glass. Maybe it's just scotch. But they're toasting him to Bond. And I forgot to mention, Nomi does give him back his 007 name. So my theory about her taking over as 007 and the lead of the franchise is probably wrong. But that was my thought. And who knows? They could have gave it back to him. They'll probably retire it now, though, to be honest. In this universe, at least. And so they toast to him. There's no, Dark Knight Rises. Hey, the ejector thing was fixed or something. Nope, he's gone. And then the last scene is Madeline driving with Mathilde and said, I'm going to tell you about your father, James Bond. And then, and this really got me. As soon as I heard the music start, I went, oh no. Because then I heard, we have all the time in the world. And I just lost it. And even now, this is the second time I've cried in a review, man. I just sat there and I took my glasses off and I just cried. And I listened to the song and I just... You don't understand. When I found out that he was killed, I was pissed in more ways than one. I was pissed because someone spoiled it, and I was pissed because they saw no other way to end this other than kill him off. And I didn't even think that maybe they did it right. I just, I was just pissed. But by the end of this, I'm never going to be able to listen to that song. I love that song by Louis Armstrong. I'm never going to be able to listen to it again without crying, because I'm going to think about this. This was handled so well. All the ways they could handle it, this was handled so well. It's nowhere near the best Craig movie. It's nowhere near the best Bond movie. But it's up there. Of course, I don't give grades for these or ratings for these. But if I did, it would be a pretty good. Because I did enjoy this. And I thought it was done very well. The callbacks weren't in your face like Die Another Day. There were some callbacks because this was the 25th Bond film overall. So there was going to be some callbacks. I did like them. But... And I understand there wasn't going to be a tribute to Sean Connery because this was supposed to come out in 2020. So everything was done before he passed away. But that's fine. But... I think they did a very good job with this film. I heard a lot of negative things about it. I don't understand it. I think it just stems like people are pissed they killed him off. But honestly, full disclosure here, right? I don't think there was any other way to end Craig's run as Bond. To be honest. As much as I got pissed about it, there was no other way. You can't just... Because, like I said, my theory was, I see what's going to happen, right? The missiles are going to hit, and we're going to assume he's dead, and then when they recast him, they'll say, he had plastic surgery, so they can't recognize him. And he can't go near them, which is why they're not going to be in the next movie. And no, they killed off Daniel Craig's James Bond. So unless they're going to go with Nomi being 007, which in this universe, they should just retire the number out of respect. They need to reboot. And they need to wait. How long? $2030. 9 years. I don't think... It would be 10 years because it's supposed to be 2020, but 9 years. I really don't think that they should do anything with James Bond for quite a while. I think they should let this sit. At least 2026. At the earliest. They need to let this sit and just wait. Not try to cash grab, not try to say, hey, we can make money with a new Bond. Wait. They need to let this sink in. They need to let people, really digest this. And I hate to say this because I do like... Connery's my favorite Bond. And I even like Dalton better than Craig. But Craig was really good as Bond. He was that no nonsense, take no bullshit kind of Bond. He got the job done. And I also kind of appropriate that to Connery and Dalton as well. There were those kind of Bonds. Well, Connery's got a little bit goofy towards the end. I think when it comes to runs as Bond, Craig had the smoothest. Sure, Quantum was a little iffy, but for the most part, there was fewer hiccups in his run than most. And I don't think that Craig's performance ever shifted as much as other Bonds. And you can throw out Lazenby because he only had one Bond to do, and Dalton too because he only had two, and his performance was similar in both. But look at Connery. By the time he was almost done, like his first time, you could tell he was just done with it. And he came back in Diamonds and he was good there, but still. And then Roger Moore, he just got goofy by the time he was done. And the same can be said for Pierce Brosnan. He was a good performance and everything, but by the time you got to Die Another Day, it was just, I don't know. Craig, in every film that he was in, had a good performance. Whether the movie was crap or not, he had a good performance. And I don't know. I really don't know. We'll have to wait till I rank the Bonds, but my ranking might have changed. And I didn't think I'd ever say that. Because of when I started doing this, I've held Connery so high up, but I really don't know. But I've gone on too long. This is reaching 40 minutes. But it's a lot to process, So what are your thoughts on No Time to Die? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And then this is the end of the road for the history of Bond movie-wise for now. But I'm going to do rankings and stuff. I'm going to rank all the movies eventually. It's going to be the last thing I do. But thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.